Hey fam, I am going to give it a minute while people join, and I will post this link on the Twitter. So just for people joining, this is my comrade Andrew.
Hello.
I cornered him last night and said, "Guess what?" I didn't really ask. I just kind of like told you. I'm like, "Yeah, you're talking about."
Are you doing anything Thursday evening at like 9? No? Okay, great. You're on this show. All right, cool.
Do you have a hot date? No. All right. Guess what? Now you do. I
Yup.
am putting this on Twitter and I am tagging you. Hi, guys. I see a few of you have joined. Thank you
Hello.
so much. Andrew, can you see the comments?
Let's see. Yeah, I can see where the comments are. Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. And
So be
I
nice
forgot
to
to
me.
tell you, what's
Yeah.
that?
So be nice to me, everyone. Yeah.
He's a very gentle soul. Please be kind. Um, that's why he's with a girl named Savage because he expects her to be so pure and sweet. Um, if you guys, comment, as you know, I can't see it, but Andrew will, and if you see something cool, he'll be able to call it out. Um, Also, Andrew, I am gonna have you read some of the screenshots that come up,
Sounds
because
good.
I don't want to like fumble over them. Um, although I know my audience loves that, because they're amazing. So I am tagging you, and um, so you guys may know Andrew from we do a panel on Fred Hampton leftists. There's one at 5:30 and one at 8 every Wednesday. And it's been pretty cool the past few weeks. I think it's been pretty much all month. And we talk about typically of the three news topics from that week. And there's usually like a panel of about 8 of us. So it's pretty diverse as far as opinions and everything. But I took a liking to Andrew immediately because he's just a nice guy and he's intelligent and informed, and I like his hat. So thank you.
Mostly the hat. Mostly.
So thank you for joining me, Andrew. Do you want
Of
to kind of
course.
like tell a little about yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, as Savage Joy said, my name is Andrew. I um, co-host a show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Called The New Left, which is on both the Populist Voice and Fred Hampton Leftist. Um, and so, yeah, I've been basically in the podcast scene for, I don't know, like a few months now. So relatively new to the scene and everything. And I guess during the day I work in higher ed. So I'm a academic and career advisor to students in the Boston area. And so, yeah, that's sort of what I do during the
I
day.
did
And then
not know that.
yeah, so fun
I
fact.
honestly picture you working in computers.
Really, I'm terrible with computers, so but I
Well,
mean,
you run
hey.
a show with 9 people for crying out loud. Good at least. Well, what made you, get into podcasting? I know, like it's super common now, and we're getting more and more people. But if you just started a few months ago, what was it that you're like, okay, now it's my time. I want to step up and do this too.
Yeah, so I think for me, I for a while I had seen myself as like potentially someone who would enjoy doing a podcast because, as you know, there's just so much shit going on and so much stuff, whether going through the news and in life, and and I was just kind of like, damn, I need some sort of place to kind of process what's going on because I feel like that's just not always available. But I think with me, I'm someone who, I come across as outgoing, but doing a show by myself and everything like you're doing, like props to you. That's just a lot of effort, and then promoting it. And I'm not someone who loves to kind of just promote myself and be like, hey, hear me, So I came across, I'm sorry.
It used to be.
Yeah.
I'm all ego.
Exactly. And so I think as I was on Twitter, and I made kind of like a new Twitter account where I would kind of just like focus mostly just everything on politics, where it's Radical Pragmatist. You can find me at Radical Pragmat 1. Just a little while after I made that Twitter account, I saw a tweet on my feed where a Populist Voice account had said, we're looking for people to join a podcast. You have to be populist. You have to be a leftist and everything. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'll just throw my hat in the ring and just like apply. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. I'm right where I am anyway. So I just took it upon myself. I DM'd them. I was like, hey, I'm interested, and then they gave me different things that they wanted to hear on different issues. I answered the questions. And the Populist Voice account, and now I'm pretty sure it was CJ, responded and was like, wow, we really liked your answers. It's very detailed. Let's talked a little bit. And then it was like, okay, let's put you on a show on the Populist Voice. And then there I was, like, and it just like over midnight, I was in all these DMs and everything. And, I was just like going on the Populist Voice shows, and we were just talking about different topics. And then one thing led to another, and here I am with you.
That's awesome. And it is #National Podcast Day. So I do find it to also say where I got my start 4 years ago with Real Progressives. And Steve, who's the creator, owner, president, the whole thing, he saw one of my videos. I made a video that was 2 minutes long to my Bernie family at our Harrisburg campaign office, and it was very emotional, and I was like, I've never been political. This changed my life. You guys are my family now. I didn't want to put it in writing. I was like, I'm just gonna make a video, and I was very emotional, and it was like 2 minutes, and it went viral. And then Steve's like, you're doing a show. And I was like, no, I'm not. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not getting in front of a camera. You kind of kept at me for like 6 months. And then I finally was like, okay, fuck it. And I went on there and got like over 5,000 views my first show. And I'm like, people are I'm a shiny object. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then he's just like, just keep at it. I'm like, okay, popping out of van, knees shaking, voice quivering, and 4.5 years later, I'm still doing this shit. So props to RP, you guys believed in me, and I was with you guys for over 3 years, and you guys are always going to be my family. So that's what's awesome. Like, when I first started, there weren't a lot of shows, to be quite honest, especially women.
Joy, I'm sorry I'm jumping in, but your mic is cutting a little bit, so I don't know if it's just the connection to it. It sounds like it's getting like jiggled out, so sometimes your sound is going weird.
Ew.
Let's see.
I'll move my mic towards me more.
Yeah, maybe that will help.
Okay. Help.
Yeah, it was just
Thank you.
Sounds much better.
If you want to play the first video, you can. We'll get to this week's news.
Yeah.
Keep government open. We have to do those imminently, more imminently even, to address the full Obama agenda of building back better and I love to say building back better
bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, so she sounds like Biden. She called him Obama. She said, I like Build Vote Better. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That was like a 10-second clip, and it was a mess. So, Sunday morning, what's your take?
I mean, yeah, anything that Nancy Pelosi says that she likes, I'm immediately sus of, just because of just her history, and how anti-progressive she's been for a long ass time. And so with that and the fact that she is completely just not speaking in cohesive words at times, it's just like, I'm just like, do you even know what's in the damn bill? It's what, like we were saying yesterday, it's like 1,300 pages long. Who the hell even knows what's in it? It's even longer. Yeah. And so it's just like, we all have an idea based on what they've said, but we also don't know. And I think you were saying this yesterday, like what poison pills are going to be in there? What sneaky poison pills are going to be there that we're going to be paying for a whole generation? Because that's how politics works all the time. If someone dares to say, oh, I'm not voting on that, they're like, oh, well, you're going to vote against, free community college. You're going to vote, like they always play those things on you. So I think, even just those 10 seconds, it's all about labels, right? She says, I love Build Back Better. It's not about what do you like about it in particular? It's never about that. So that's, I guess, kind of my overall take from those 10 seconds.
Absolutely. And, it's so bananas that a president who can't even speak correctly would choose a tongue twister as his actual slogan, like Build Back Better. You cannot say that shit 5 times fast. Bananas. Build Back Better bananas. You could show the next one, Janet. That's beautiful. Like, I miss protesting her so much. It's amazing. And it's like, I'm the queen. I'm the coronated queen. And then she's heckled while she's marching in her royal robe.
Yeah. I have so much to say about this. Just because the obvious, right? It's Hillary Clinton. Someone's calling her a war criminal. No, it's like, yes, please say it louder. More of that needs to be said, right? But I think what I love especially about that is this took place in Belfast, Northern Ireland. And I actually was in Ireland visiting my dad very recently, who now lives there. He lives a little outside of Belfast. And I was in Belfast a couple times with him. I've been there a good few times. And it is such a, like, half of it is like kind of they're for the British, occupation, right? And half of it is very against that, right? Because there's a lot of like activist history against the British to basically free Ireland from Britain, right? Well, again, the weeds of that. But I think what's especially fascinating about Belfast is there is like a particular place, and like there's literally just graffiti everywhere and artwork that's just such leftist, like you couldn't ask for more leftist, right? They say Free Palestine on there. They list all the different like human rights abuses that Israel is doing. They have like anything you could ask for. And so I just think the fact being there and then seeing that happen and people just straight up calling her a war criminal is just like, bravo, you're living up to your like leftist hype that you have there. Because well,
I was there as well. And funny because I literally went to Ireland literally the day after Trump won the election. So they were like, "Do you like your new president?" And I was like, "I'm from Canada." And I just started lying and saying I was from Canada because I was like, "This is ruining my vacation. I want to just sit in a pub and listen to Irish music." And yeah, it was literally the day after he got. Is my accent good? I kind of
That was not bad. That was not bad. Better than I could have done it.
The first time I had whiskey was in Ireland because nobody told me that they stick, but glasses of whiskey on the table instead of water. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, it was bad. I digress. You can show the next one, Janet. So this is initially the first picture I saw. I absolutely thought it was fake. Everybody thinks that's Greta Thunberg, and it is not. I checked.
Oh, okay. I can see why. Yeah, that's interesting. Or like maybe Greta Thunberg like 5 years ago. I don't know, like his little sister.
The boy. I'm not sure, but
okay.
If you zoom in, I don't know if Lumpy can do this, but if you zoom in, that kid has the creepiest fucking face.
Oh God.
Like, it is so creepy. And I don't mean to be mean because he's a kid, but it just it's like Children of the Corn, like it's like I know I am walking someone who will exploit me, who hates me, who will probably eat me, but I'm doing it because I'm being made to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what a flattering picture. Somebody put that with balloons because it kind of looks like her. Kind of comparable. What's your take when you saw this?
I mean, first of all, I'm just like, can any of these people just wear shit that doesn't go on the floor? Like, like there's other options. Like, do you have to be in that drawer? Like, you're not even a politician at this point. You're a normal person. Like, just like a regular just dress or just semi-formal wear would have been fine. Right? Like no one would have said anything. But you have to wear this like obnoxious thing and then have a child carry it for you, which also kind of brought me back to a couple weeks ago with the AOC Tax the Rich dress that also had people carrying the stuff. And I'm just like, how ironic where you have to literally just have people carry your shit. Like,
wow. That's bananas. When I first saw this, I was like, can someone please make a meme of a white beard and long hair and just call her Merlin? Because that's all I saw.
Yes. Yes. I could see it now. I wish that was Merlin. That would be really cool. Be like, oh, what's Merlin doing in Northern Ireland? What are they planning? Okay.
You could magically get rid of her ass because she's just never going to God.
Yeah, that would be good too.
Janet, you could go to the next one.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
Oh, okay.
It ended up leaving the screen.
No worries. I like to eat the rich in the background of your screen.
I like things that are nasty, like girly at the same time. Nice. Like, I'm 42, but yeah, I still like Hello Kitty. Fuck yeah. Like, I don't look 42, so I mean, I gotta kind of represent the youngins.
Exactly. Young folk.
Okay, here we go. Queen
Yeah,
Hillary.
what is she saying in that picture, I wonder?
Oh, you're taking my picture? Oh my god. Queen Honey Holdness at your service.
Hold on a second. I don't know why
that.
it's like it won't move through the pictures anymore. Hold on 1 second. I just have to reopen it in a different way. Hold
on. Okay. Yes, you know, I was at Occupy DNC for 6 days when we were protesting the convention in 2016. And we were like, we just kept saying uncoronate the queen, because that's, I mean, it's my turn. Like, that is the entitlement. And especially because, you know, she's one of those people that wants that dynasty. My husband was president. Now I want to be president. I want Chelsea to be, you know, senator or whatever she wants. Okay, so now we're going to sit down with one of my favorite people to make fun of. Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
You want to read that?
Yeah, if pissed off independents, in quotations, were a party, I think it would win.
I'm an independent and I'm pissed off, and most of us are.
Yes.
So I don't understand. He posts things a lot that he thinks is very profound, and people in the comment section will put him on the body of Superman and put like a crown and be like, you drop this king and stuff. And like, this is, you know, what's your take on this? Am I missing something?
I mean, I think the thing is that like, if you looked at this tweet on its surface without Andrew Yang, like, I would probably just be like, well, yeah. But I think the fact that it's Andrew Yang and all of that things that he's done, right? Like, he is someone who goes where the wind blows, right? He's someone who likes to kind of pretend he's an outsider. But then he's someone who is a regular commentator on CNN. And then, you know, doesn't even, when he drops out, doesn't even try to endorse Bernie, just like waits out, then endorses Biden, right? I think it even came out that him and Biden had conversations of like, you know, him thinking like, oh, he would get a shot in the Biden cabinet in somewhere. I don't know where he would fit, but like,
which
you know,
is so illegal.
Right. And so that's kind of like, to me, where it's like when it's convenient for him, he's on the outside, and particularly when he realizes that the Democrats never really accepted him because he, God forbid, came up with some idea that was slightly outside of the box. We could talk about his UBI plan and how it really wasn't great, but like, compared to what everyone else in the field was doing when they were just doing typical consulting points, right? He had something different, right? And so I think he feels angry that he wasn't let into the club, right? He tried so hard to be let into the club. He was, you know, oh, Israel should defend himself, right? Because someone told him, if you say that, you'll be in the club, Andrew. You'll be in the club. It's weird that I have the same name as that guy, but
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Be like, fuck Andrew. No, wait.
Like, okay, yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. That and Andrew Cuomo. I'm like, why do I have the same names as like the slot?
Okay, look. I don't even want to hear it. Okay, Joy-Ann Reid and Joy Behar.
Okay.
Both of them can eat a bag of dicks. Both of them.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah. So,
you can put the next one up, Janet.
Okay. So yeah, this is okay. This is Savage Joy. Marie.
You can read his part first and then.
Oh, okay. We really ought to be able to vote on our phones. NPR. Oh, was this must have been when he was like talking on an NBR Twitter thing about his book. I remember seeing that. I was like,
yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you said, yeah, that sure sounds legit and accurate. Definitely not setting ourselves up for recounts. We need at minimum open primaries, videotaped hand-counted paper ballots. Yes. Ranked choice voting, ban electoral college, ban superdelegates, voting as national paid holiday. Yeah. And so I think this is like a perfect example of Yang trying to kind of say something without really saying something, right? Like in his mind, he's probably thinking like, oh, we could just make like this cool little app, right? And it'll be like the voting app and stuff. And what could go wrong with that, right? And so I like how you really.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, there aren't hackers. Like, yeah, okay. We talked about Russia and how they've been hacking for the past like 4 or 5 years. We stopped talking about that when Biden won as much, right? And now we're at the point where, you know, it's been drilled that Russia is the biggest threat to national security. That's like the number one thing we need to be focusing on and putting resources on and talking about 24/7, because they are creating the stir that's happening in this country. It has nothing to do with the fact that we have 20 million people not covered with healthcare, everyone underpaid, right? And so, but now it's like, oh, we're going to forget about this and we're going to do the whole amnesia thing where something's a problem and then pretend it's not a problem because now we have other interests that we're trying to fulfill. So,
right. Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, shit, I'm old enough to remember hanging chads. I mean, and you don't think a phone app, like, are you kidding me? Were you not there in 2016? People were legit filming, pressing the Bernie button and it jumping to Hillary.
yeah.
If you can hack a voting machine, you think you can't hack phones? And then what's going to happen? It's going to be recounts. It's going to be going to court. It would be insane. No, I'm sorry, dude. Get off your ass. It's once every 4 years, maybe once every 2 years. You've got an entire day to do it. And most states you can do mailing in now anyway. Yep. It's like they're asking for chaos. Furthermore, Yang did his whole campaign saying everything is going to go electronic. So we got to prepare. You're literally trying to turn this electronic.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. Yeah.
Get me in a room with this man because I realized I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Are you really?
Yes. I forgot he sent me a friend request back in 2018.
Wow.
So I technically,
Ooh, so you could like message him and be like, yo, do you want to like, well, at least before he ran for mayor, he loved going on like podcasts and stuff. So, you know, you could bring him on and be like,
he can't search my Twitter though.
That's true.
That's the problem.
That's true. Yeah.
Because it's just like, I mean, like all these are from the past 2 days and I'm 7.
Yeah, that would be a little.
Oh my God. Janet, you can show the next one. Okay, so this is so offensive in so many ways. Why are you trying to look away, first of all? And second of all, you're looking at it, but you're not doing a fucking thing. And it's not just DC, idiot. What's your take when you read this?
I mean, first of all, it's just like, again, very vague. Yeah, you're not doing a damn thing about it. It's hard to look away from what's going on in DC. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is him again, like doing very much establishment talking points that are very much in line with the issues that are going on, and then pretending I'm not part of that club. What are you talking about, right? And so it's just, when I see that, it's just like, shut up, Yang. Like, this is just like you trying to continue to be relevant. You're trying to get us to buy your book. We get it. You know, you can be one of the many people that makes a book trying to say how dysfunctional things are when really you're part of the issue, right? Like,
Right.
and so
like you brought up before, you endorsed Biden instead of Bernie.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem. That shows. And now you're having like some kind of buyer's remorse. Fuck that. I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
Janet, you could put the next one. Okay, so if you want to read his tweet.
Yes. So Andrew Yang said, the Joe Manchin statement makes you wonder whether Dems all belong in the same party. This was a great point, though, said Chobble Goblin. And then Savage Joy says, why'd he delete it?
Because it was actually like, holy shit. This is right. Like, this is right. They're all in the same party, but they're like, they shouldn't be, you know? And he fucking deleted it.
Yep. So that makes you wonder, like, and I think, and I wondered this too, when, you know, because I think when we look back when he was running for mayor of New York City, right? I think, you know, I know we're shitting on him for very much reasons, but I think some of the things about him that drew a crowd to him was he at least used to have this sort of genuine way about him, right? He spoke not like just kind of very conversationally, right? Yet came across as very intelligent, right? At the same time, right? So he was able to kind of sound like he knew what he was talking about. And I think and then suddenly, like, it just seemed like almost, particularly when he was running for mayor, it was clear he had like consultants who were just kind of very much like tone policing how he said things, right? And I think it even came out that he like started working with people who worked with Bloomberg, right? So he really got into that sort of machine like mentality. And I remember back when I watched Crystal, Kyle and Friends, I don't watch it as much anymore for various reasons, you know, but I remember they interviewed Andrew Yang, and throughout that whole interview, for a lot of it, it was kind of relaxed. He was just kind of talking. He was very comfortable. And then they asked him about like his comment about comparing BDS to Nazis or whatever, something like that. And I remember immediately, if you watch that video, he just his tone completely shifted. He became very stiff, and it seemed like his remarks, his response didn't quite line up with even the question. Like, it completely looked very much like he was just regurgitating talking points that people told him to do whenever that happened, right? And so I know this is kind of going a little off topic from this kind of Twitter, but to kind of bring it back to this specific tweet, the fact that it was deleted and the fact that, you know, he has a book coming out, he definitely is working with a lot of people who are kind of like toe the line in this way. You can't say this. So I can only imagine there were probably people who were like, dude, like, no, don't leave Joe Manchin alone. You know, like, don't go there, right? This is a turbulent time, and you can't be in it. I don't know. That's sort of my biggest take.
That's the problem, because it's like this tweet almost implies like he kind of gets it a little, but he's fake, which is worse than just being like an outright shit lib and believing you're right. If you're gonna like kind of allude to the fact that you kind of get it and then delete it, and like, I don't know, like, I think he's such a fraud for so many reasons, but this is like, wait, does he kind of get it? I don't know, because like, but at the same time, I'm like, this is a dude who literally had a grown man get on his knees and poured fucking, you know, whipped cream in his mouth and fucking crowd surfed and, you know, all this shit when he's running for president. Like, he's a fucking joke. So, you know, I just don't, I mean, he's obviously intelligent. He has made a very good career. But I don't think he's very bright, if that makes sense. I don't think he's, I think he's just too much of a showman.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I definitely kind of agree. I definitely agree with that. And I think as well, he's smart in the sense where he knows sort of what people are craving, right? And so he started his own podcast because he knows, like, oh, people have a crave for independent media, right? So he was doing that for a little while, right? And so I think he kind of had an idea, and I think, part of what UBI, bringing up UBI, he knew that there would be some people who would like that, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know if he's someone who really has strong ideals to begin with. He just kind of knows what might take off. And so he kind of just goes with that. But obviously I can't get inside his brain. But, thinking about kind of his background, and what he does, Silicon Valley and stuff, it's kind of like you're looking out for your class interest in many ways. I think that's
absolutely.
So. Yeah. All right. So there should be at least 4 separate political parties at this point: progressives, moderates, Dems, moderate Republicans, and conservatives. Okay.
He's alluded to that. He thinks he's a threat. Which obviously, absolutely nothing now. But it's like some of these are the same thing. Like, I mean, so what is he? Because he's coming out with this third party the day his book comes out, right? In October. What is his going to be? Why isn't his listed here? So
yeah.
I don't know. What's your take? These all kind of blend to me.
Yeah, they blend to me, and I think, and of course it's like a short tweet, and there's only so much you can say in a short tweet, but when I read this, I'm like, yeah, there should be more parties, but like also, and this is, I think, what a lot of people like to kind of say is, they put things on a left to right spectrum. And yes, part of it is on a left to right spectrum, but part of it is literally just like, can we have a party that just does not take money from super PACs and corporations and the military industrial complex, big pharma, right? Like, that is really kind of what the issue is. It's not necessarily like how he's lining it up. So yeah. And I think he's kind of, that is in many ways, that is sort of a very superficial way of putting it, where it's like, we need people who are like, left and right and everything, and he even says like, not left, right, forward. Like, okay, what does forward fucking mean, Andrew? Like, like, yeah.
If you talk about capitalism.
Right. Yeah. So I think, again, like someone who has a set, like, feels like the system isn't working, but doesn't necessarily have the can't pinpoint exactly what it is, might read it and be like, yeah, but it's like, in reality, what we know, because of what we've just seen, like, there's so much more to that. And just because we have that, it's not necessarily going to make it so that there's less corruption. It's just going to be facilitated in a different way. It's sort of like, whenever people bring up to me like, oh, we need term limits, I'm like, well, what we really need is to get money out of politics first, because if we don't address that part and we give everyone term limits, imagine how much the oligarchs will just have people lined up and be like, okay, in 6 years, this person's retiring. In 2 years, we got you. We're going to input, so I don't know. That's kind of how that kind of.
I think they kind of go together. I mean, it would kind of inadvertently give term limits in a way. Like, you're telling Dianne Feinstein and Pelosi they can no longer take big money. Well, they can't freaking platform themselves and pimp themselves the same way. So, and we're the ones going to be donating to all the leftist candidates. So it actually may inadvertently give them term limits if we did get money out of politics.
That's a
Janet,
good
you
point.
can put the next one.
Okay, yeah. So there should be a political party for people who don't enjoy politics. All right. So this is funny because I actually retweeted this on my page, and I could try to even bring up what I did on my phone, but I remember I said something like, coming from somebody who has run for multiple political offices, has been on CNN as a contributor, has made himself a podcast that talked about politics. Like, what?
Right? I don't know how old you are, but in my age, and Janet might know too, we had this thing on SNL, and it was called Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey. Okay. And this is what I think of every freaking time. It was like this guy who just said, like, there should be a political party, but like with a sunset or trees, and it was like, it just made fun of how profound he thought it was, but it was not profound in the least. This is what I see every fucking time Andrew says a damn thing. Andrew Yang, that is.
Right.
Present company excluded, not this Andrew. So, like, if you have a party, a political party that doesn't enjoy politics, how do you entice them to vote? How do you entice them to support your candidacy? How do you get them active? Like, it's literally just a party of existence. Like, what's the point?
I guess. I mean, yeah, it's I guess a party that just doesn't focus on life.
It's just like slackers. Like, are you a slacktivist? Do you sit on social media all day and do absolutely nothing else? Man, have I got a party for you. This kicks fucking ass. It's going to go absolutely nowhere and accomplish absolutely nothing, which is exactly why you'll like it.
just pay your dues every year to me.
Absolutely.
We'll be good.
Yep. Sign the check to Andrew Yang and we are in business. I'm scared to see his platform. Like, I'm scared because when he ran for president, he had over 140 things on his website of things he wanted to do. And it was like so incredibly random. Like, he even had stuff about masturbation and stuff like that. Like, it was so weird. And, yeah, like, what? So I can only imagine. And I can only imagine the kind of people that will want to run in this party. Yeah. It is going to fuck over third parties so bad. Like, it is going to destroy, their capabilities even more. It's going to make a mockery of it. And I really do think that someone just said to Yang, you should create your own party. And he was like, yeah, because he's the type of person that you would just plant a seed and he'd be like, yup. He's like a Trump. Like, you just say something and they're like, yes, I'm doing that.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know nothing about it. I've never voted that way. I could have endorsed an independent third party, but I didn't. But you know what? I'm going to do it. And I'm going to announce it the same exact day my book drops. Genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely genius.
Big coincidence there. Yeah.
Janet, you can put to the next one.
All right. So Andrew Yang's tweet. It's aggravating when something you expect to work doesn't work. Bum bum bum. Yeah, and then Savage Joy, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy.
Like, it's not just tweets. It's the fact that the people in the comments are like this shit have like 50,000 likes. That's not okay. That makes me fear for humanity. That makes me realize our educational system is failing people. Exactly. It's not a good tweet.
Yes.
It's so sad. Like, it's so random and it's so vague. They're always so vague. And people are like expanding, like, yeah, let me tell you about this one time. And I think he's lonely. Honestly, I think he's lonely. That's what I think this comes down to.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Like, this engages conversation. Check this out. And then he like feels like everyone's like, yeah, you're so profound. You're so amazing. I did not hit the like button, but I did actually like one of his tweets last week because he quoted a Smith song. And I was like, okay, the fact that we have the same taste in music really bothers me. However, he is quoting a song that I love. So now I'll just mock him 99% instead of 100. So he gets at least a little credit.
Yeah.
Janet, you could go to the next one.
Yeah. Emma Bigland. All right.
No, I have asked her to debate me so many times,
really?
And she just won't. And I wonder why, because I would be so gentle with her and so kind. But, I've had other people she follows ask her. So I know she's seeing this. I tag her. I put it in the response to her replies. Like, I've been doing this shit for 2 months. I'm not even kidding you.
Wow.
So, and I'm not blocked, but she had to have seen this shit. I do it like every day. But in any case, it's always very important when someone who considers themselves a journalist talks about aesthetics instead of the harm that the person is doing.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, I was going to say she's like your Steve Crowder. So like when Sam Cedar, where it's like, debate me, how Sam Cedar just like all this time tried to. So I don't know. Maybe there'll be an opportunity for you to just like, on one time on the Majority Report, just pop up. Maybe someone will I don't know. And she'll be like,
that'd be rad.
Savage Joy.
Surprise, it's the girl.
But like, I think going off of that, like, is Emma Vigeland even a journalist anymore? Like, all I see her is just like on the Majority Report, and half the time they're just like making fun of people. Like, I don't watch her or the Majority Report that much. I never really, there was a time where maybe I tried them out like several years ago, but I never really kind of got into them just because, I don't know, there was something about them that always rubbed me the wrong way. But it's like, I feel like they just spend half of their time just like laughing at certain sector of the left and then just like, talking about Trump and doing that. And it's like, at least when Emma Vigeland was with TYT, I'll give it to her. She was on the ground, at least in some cases, she was, doing reporting on the ground. I think there was a time, when her and Jordan Sheridan worked together, but now it's just like, you're just kind of shooting the shit. Like, and I guess this tweet kind of reflects that's kind of the level of content that she's just kind of resorted to now.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Kirsten Sinema is trending again because of her disgusting behavior, and you're talking about aesthetics. Yeah. Like, who gives a fuck? Who cares? I actually like the fact, despite the fact that she's a total bitch and doesn't care about people, I actually like the fact that we have someone, an elected rep that's like has cute hair and wears fun clothes and stuff like that. Like, I'm all about that. I mean, her attitude is heinous, so it's, it kind of, sours it. But I mean, to focus on that just shows privilege, just pure privilege. It's
Yeah.
gross. Janet, you can go to the next one.
Ooh, all right. Our revolution. Oh boy. So the hashtag Build Back Better package is our opportunity to make the boldest investments since the Great Depression, create millions of good paying jobs, make healthcare, education, childcare, housing more affordable, unrig our tax code, and reward work, not wealth. Pass it on. Yeah.
So the beauty of this, when I shared, I want to say it was last month, I shared the creator of our revolution follows me, and a lot of people think this is Bernie. This is not Bernie. Bernie is not our revolution. It was created by, it was inspired by him. He has nothing to do with it. It would actually be illegal for him to have something to do with it because it cannot have anything to do with campaigns, directly connected like that to presidential campaigns. But anyway, so last month, I received an email from our Rev that was talking about we are going to be going more towards Biden and working with what we have. And it said our new platform, it did not have Medicare for all. It did not have Green New Deal. So I put screenshots on Twitter, and the guy, the creator of our Rev is there, and he's like, Joy, this isn't true. I'm like, I'm literally giving receipts. This is what I've received. And people were jumping all over me. They're progressive. They're progressive. Well, actually, if you watch what they've been doing the past year at least, they've been endorsing people who are not the least bit progressive and not endorsing the burners. So it's been, they've been, just sucking for at least a year. So to everyone who flipped out on me, you're welcome. Like, here you go. They're cause. Like, but they've been co-opted. They've changed. I don't fucking know, but they're not leftists. They're not comrades. They're clearly centrist, and they're trying to appeal to shit libs rather than us.
Yeah.
What's your take, Andrew, when you see this?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of going off a little bit of what you were saying, and it kind of brings me back a little bit to, 3 or 4 years ago when these progressive groups, quote unquote, or these, they're not progressive anymore, like you said, but in many ways under Trump, it was a lot easier for these groups to just kind of be as left facing as they wanted to be, because they knew that there was no way none of this would come to fruition, because we had a Republican president, a Republican Senate, a Republican Congress for the first 2 years of Trump's term, right? And so, but now what we're seeing is, now that they're quote unquote in power, their party that they are a part of, that they promote is in power, right? They are easily being co-opted, because it's like, we can't go too much against this because it's our party, and then we're going to get smeared, and then we're going to do this. And so I think in many ways what we're just seeing is just like how the duopoly, monopoly, whatever you want to call it, how toxic it is, because it's like, when we don't have a crazy Trump in power, but we just have a conservative Democrat who has very conservative history, but everyone seemed to have forgotten. It's like, okay, well, let's tone it down, and we see this all the time, not just with our revolution, but, AOC calls Medicare for all health justice now, or climate like, it's just, it's like, hello, we have a specific policy for this that you're not saying.
And what are kids in cages, migrant facilities?
Yeah. Right. Like,
Yeah, you have an absolutely great point. It absolutely is per who's in office, because you know that, well, first of all, they only endorse Democrats. At first they didn't. At first they were like people not party, and they did endorse the Greens, things like that. But as I say, at least 2 years, you have to be a Democrat to get their endorsement. And Democrats aren't exactly fighting for the things that they say they were fighting for. So this is bound to happen.
Yeah.
Although I'll never forget in 2020, and you might know this because you're in Mass, our rep Massachusetts were fighting on whether to endorse Warren or Bernie. And I was like, hell no, like I will flip my shit, because your platform is nothing what Warren supports. She doesn't even support Medicare for all. But they were like, it's Massachusetts. Well, I don't give a fuck. And she came forth there anyway, so take that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I was like, okay, now this is all the more proof. Like, you're not progressive if you're not endorsing the most progressive candidate. Like, Bernie has tons of flaws, but there was no one more progressive than him running. I mean, there just wasn't. So
Right.
I think that showed a lot too. Janet, you could show the next one.
Oh, Pramila Jayapal. Okay. Progressives won't back down on delivering paid leave, education, healthcare, childcare, and climate action because of an arbitrary deadline. We're sticking to our deal and delivering for the people. All right, Pramila. Yeah. Did you
She's
send
calling herself progressive.
Yeah. I don't know if there was a strong worded letter that was accompanied by this tweet as well. I know, she enjoys writing those letters to people.
No, there wasn't. And you're so right. She does that. And then she also does, what would it mean to you if, and then she just gaslights. And people write all these heartfelt stories, and she never reads the comments, obviously. But yeah, I mean, so this language, we won't back down. What do you think? What's your first instinct when you read something like that? Strong. We won't back down.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I think taking in the fuller context of probably what she's indirectly referring to is the $3.5 trillion package that's we've been talking about, that was already lowered from like 6 trillion, right? So like you've already backed down, and then you already have people like Ro Khanna going on CNN apparently that basically hinted that they were going to at some point, if pushed, have to back off the 3.5 trillion, and so it's just like there's a history, a long history of people on the left. I'm not talking about like the Democrat, but the left or the left flank of the Democratic Party that always just lets the Overton window go just completely right. People always like to say, oh, the Democrats are getting more and more left and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, maybe in their language, they're getting more left, and sure, in social issues, yeah, they are getting more left. But like, look in terms of the economic Overton window of where we're at. Like the corporate tax rate under Obama was 38%. Trump lowered it to 21%. In this specific package, right, that we're talking about, it would make it go up to 26%, I believe. And a lot of that was because Joe Manchin said, like, I'm not going to vote on 28 or 29, but I'll vote on like 25 or something. And it's like, hello, like, let's fast forward to 4 years when we do have a Republican president and in office, right? Let's keep in mind that Mitt Romney, when he was running for president, he wanted 25%, right? So what's next? The Republican president, the person running for president is going to be like, let's bring it down to 17. And then the Democrat will be like, no, 23. Like, hello. Like, so,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, they're talking about lowering Medicare to age 60. Hillary Clinton wanted 55. Okay, she's conservative as fuck. And you are outrighting fucking Hillary Clinton. That's bad. This is promoting this, the person who wrote Medicare for All. So that's an issue. And then you look at this terminology. Yes, I understand as a character limit, but you can do a thread.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't say Medicare for All. It doesn't say Green New Deal. It says climate, healthcare. Great. What does that mean?
Ooh.
We know what it means. It means
And
bread.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Pramila Jayapal literally say, like, let's lower the Medicare age to 60. Like, she's definitely tweeted that in the past. So it's like,
Absolutely.
okay, sounds like you're backing down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I call her out every freaking time. I'm surprised she hasn't blocked my ass yet. Oh, you know what? They're not allowed. That's right. They're not allowed. Elected reps cannot block people. I actually met her, I want to say about 3 years ago. I met her at a conference, and, you know, I really liked her because she was in The Nation a lot. And then when I met her, something about her, I felt in my gut that I just wasn't trusting her. I wasn't sure what it was. But then she started coming out with like all these bad takes and all these semantics, and I was shocked. I mean, absolutely floored when she endorsed Bernie. I did not expect that at all. Like, I was completely dumbfounded. So I was very appreciative of that. But I was on to her quite some time ago, and now she just seems to be like full on embracing her shit. Like, she's not even trying to hide it anymore. Which, I mean, is transparency is good, I guess, even if it's inadvertent. So props for Mila.
Yeah. 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 Oh,
Janet, you could show the next one.
Oh, yeah. Misfit Black Girl. Yeah. So, quotes, Democrats see Harris as uniquely positioned to drive up turnout among young people. What young person is listening to Zero Delegate Kamala? Dems are so out of touch. Yeah.
Right? Like, this woman literally was pulling fourth in her state of California and had to drop out before a single vote was even cast. And now she's wearing Timberlands and Chucks. So you think it's going to drive people out? This is the problem right here with all these stupid electoral politic people who, yes, queen, and like, they don't even care that she's complete garbage. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Let's play devil's advocate. If young people were to go out and vote for her, what do you think their reason would be?
What would the reason be? Young people's reasons be for voting for Harris? Well, I mean, I think for someone who kind of lightly follows politics, right? You know, maybe just like casually watches CNN, MSNBC, you know, reads headlines of articles, maybe reads them a little bit, but just kind of has a superficial understanding based on what the corporate media is telling them. You know, I think they would maybe be like, oh, she's the one who gave so much shit to Trump people in the administration because, you know, one of her strengths is, you know, she's a lawyer, she's a prosecutor, so she knows how to ask questions. She knows how to ask tough questions in rapid succession. So I think that is something that people would find appealing in her. And I will admit, you know, 3 or 4 years, I definitely was not nearly as in tuned as I am now, right? You know, and so I'll admit, when she first came on the scene and people were pointing and being like, oh, she could be the next Obama, like literally the media manufactured consented her so hard the second she stepped on the stage in the Senate, right? But, for a little bit, and then I caught on. For a little bit, I was like, oh, she's kind of cool. And then I learned more about sort of her actual record. I was actually watching a Jimmy Dore clip, and he played her very first campaign video. And you should go back and watch it. It's so ridiculous. She just goes and she's like, truth, democracy, blah blah blah, and then she goes like, these aren't just words, and it's like, you're literally just saying words right now. Like, I don't know what, there's no policy related or anything, right? So it's like, once you look into her a little bit, she cracks completely, right? But I think when you're kind of just casually following, it's like, oh, she's cool. She walks in those Timbs. She walks with style. Yeah.
Like, she's pretty. She's a woman of color. She said she breaks records. This is awesome. It was
she listened to like Biggie. She listened to like Biggie in college or whatever, even though when the time she went to college and when she would have listened didn't quite line up. But yeah.
No, because she got a Tupac tape out of some dude's trunk and it was a bootleg. Like, that's my theory, because that's the only thing that lines up. But it was a debate. It was a debate. It was a debate. It was a debate. Like, okay, was it a debate though? It was a debate. Like, that is one of the worst moments ever. Absolutely ever. And it was glorious. Jen, you can go to the next one. So I decided I'm going to start doing memes at the end because I talk about so much shit. So I just thought this was adorable and I could relate. So
yeah,
it's so cute.
Yeah,
Janet, you can go to the next one. This is one of my favorite ever, like, existence. I'm obsessed with this. I've been sharing it for 6 years, and I'm going to continue sharing it because it's fucking amazing.
Being pulled off to romantic places like. Yeah.
Listen, girls, get you a man who can do this, because that's like, or the next one. I think there's 2 more.
Happy fall of the bourgeoisie. Okay, yeah.
Dude, it's pushing and a fuck the rich, like, at the same time. It's adorbs.
That is good.
Well, thank you so much to Janet for helping with the freaking things.
Thank you, Janet.
Amazing, and I appreciate it so damn much. You are kick-ass. I asked you like last minute, and you have never used StreamYard, and you jumped in because you are freaking amazing. Andrew, do you want to just share where people can find you, things like that?
Yeah. Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Radical Pragmatist on Twitter, and the handle at Radical Pragmat1. That's where you can find me. And yeah, part of a couple different shows that happen to be on the Populist Voice and Fred Hampton Leftists. So yeah, I'm here and there. You can definitely find me. And so, yeah, thank you very much for having me on Savage Joy, and thank you for everyone else who watched it. Absolutely.
I gave you a choice.
It's my pleasure.
So thank you guys for watching as always. Please hit the like button. Please share so we can get more subscriptions. It wasn't easy going off on my own after over 4 years. So I'm trying to, build this shit up kind of almost from scratch. So don't forget, Ship Lib Parody Book, savageandpat.com. And I should also you guys know, but I will be in LA with Pat. Pat Cody, who's also all those people. He and I are flying into LA. We will be meeting for the first time, even though we wrote a book together, and doing a book signing. And I will be opening with comedy, which is going to be fucking weird and could be an absolute disaster. But I'm opening for Jim Dorn, Durable Lib, Rick Overton, and like all these people who are actually funny. So it could just remember, you have to laugh at anything I say, because if you don't, you are fucking able to swallow. So just keep that in mind. Definitely. So, and then I have really good shows coming up next week as well. So I'll be sharing the promos there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. And thank you again, Andrew. And thank you, Janet.